right, hello wine drinking people. Today is Thursday, October 7th. Finishing up another great week here at the Wine Watch. Another busy week next week. Hey, we've got a busy month this month. And then on to the holiday season. So, not going to be doing very much drinking, unfortunately, in late November. But we still got a month and a half to go here, folks, before we batten down the hatches and get into our holiday mode. So we'll probably take the whole month of December off. I don't know what you guys are going to do without me reviewing wines every day, but I'm sure you'll live. But we still got a month and a half to go, and it's time for what I drank yesterday. Yesterday was a pretty good day in the store. We had a couple suppliers in, some very good wines, some old friends. Always nice to see old friends. Teresa from ZD, the Benziger family. And starting out, we had Antica, which is a new project from Piero Antinori in Napa Valley. This is a vineyard up on Atlas Peak. I was actually lucky enough to have dinner up there with a group from Allied Domecq years ago. It's an absolutely stunning property, and some great Cabernet vineyards up there. The Chardonnay, outstanding, which is what we're starting with today, the 2007 Antica Chardonnay. A nice amount of toasty oak spice here on the nose with notes of cinnamon, a little bit of matchstick kind of aroma there, lemon zest and green apple, very Burgundian in nature. If I had this in a brown bag tasting, I'd probably guess it is from Burgundy. Lovely focused acidity and bright green apple, lemon citrus fruit on the palate. Finishes with a note of minerality, just the right touch of oak, but nice concentration and nice length here on the finish. Excellent juice. Next up, we had the Cabernet, and we've had the 2005 vintage in the store. I don't know, I must have missed 2006, but in case you have not heard, 2007, an outstanding vintage in Napa Valley. This Antica, the best wine I've had under this label thus far. Had a little note of bell pepper to that. Maybe that's the elevation you're getting there. A little cooler climate. Some fresh plowed earth. Good note of minerality also. Fresh stone. And then beautiful black currant and cassis berry fruit showing up, and plum, densely packed with notes of meat and fine herbs there. Firm tannins on the palate. You can just tell this wine needs a little time. It's got a nice hand of fresh plowed earth into the finish there. Excellent concentration of depths of finish. Finishing a bit dry, but it is Cabernet Sauvignon, folks. Cabernet is dry. And a vintage like 07, mountain fruit, this wine needs a little time, but it's got all the pieces. They just need to come together fully. Very nice, most excellent. Next up, we had Teresa from ZD, and she started her job there about the same time I bought the store. We were talking about this yesterday, about 12 years. So she brought us the 2008 Chardonnay. One of the signatures of ZD Chardonnay is the American Oak. Well, actually, they use American Oak in all of their wines, except for Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir is not like American Oak. A little too aggressive. Pinot is a little too delicate. But this wine has some lovely fresh dill note to that. Red, delicious apple, pineapple, tropical fruit, and lush and forward. It's a blend of Carneros, Monterey, Santa Maria Valley, Napa, and Sonoma vineyards. This wine just got California on the labels, or appellation. The winery is actually located in Napa, so it may be a little confusing for some of you that are familiar with ZD, but the Chardonnay's been like this for quite some time. Really nice and juicy on the tongue, lovely balance, and quite a bit of toasty oak spice there. If you like a little oak in your wine, this wine is for you. Just a little oak. The reserve oak, lots of oak here, buddy. Big, butterscotch, buttery. It's what you want in a big, over-the-top Napa Chardonnay. This wine is from Napa, and a very distinct bouquet with that American oak. Again, you get that dill in there, and a little coconut also. I get a little more coconut in the red wines from the American oak, but primarily estate fruit. They do purchase a little bit of this. It's going estate, and then lovely big hand, like I said, with the oak on the palate. You really notice it on the finish, that butterscotch notes and the oak spice, but it has lots of everything, lots of fruit to match. Really nice, nicely balanced wine for being as big as it is. And next up, we had their Pinot Noir Carneros. These guys have been farming organically since 1980. They were certified in 1999, and this has got some lovely light cherry fruit, pretty floral notes, a little bit of an oriental spice note to that. Very fresh and forward, smooth and silky on the tongue with a nice touch of spice and black raspberry fruit there. Very well balanced, leaves the tongue fresh and clean. Very nice Pinot Noir. And then we had the Cabernet Napa. This has probably been the most successful wine we've ever had from ZD in the store, other than their Chardonnay. Hey, it's Napa Valley, folks. Pop quiz. What's the #1 varietal in Napa? Cabernet. Well, I'm glad to see that folks at ZD have realized that, and they're making more Cabernet Sauvignon, more of this Napa Cab. Nice hand of fresh herbs, freshly plowed earth, black currants, cassis berry fruit here on the nose, lovely dark chocolate and toasty oak spice showing up. They were one of the founding partners of Stagecoach Vineyards. Jan Krupp was in earlier in the year, the owner of Stage Krupp, with the other founder. And some of that fruit goes into this. Then they've got vineyards in Calistoga and Rutherford, and then just below Atlas Peak on Soda Canyon Road there, Combsville and Carnero. So somewhat a blend of different vineyards throughout Napa, and a little bit of Petit Verdot in this blend, but classic Napa Valley Cabernet. A good deal of forward black cherry, black currant berry fruit, and lovely toasty oak, dark cocoa notes and spice. Lovely freshness on the finish though. Excellent bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon. The Reserve, 100% Cabernet Sauvignon. Very big, very overblown, very oaky. You really notice that American oak in this wine, the dill, the coconuts, and lots of concentration here. Lots of richness, but still balanced. And this is the wine that goes into their abacus. The folks at ZD, very good friends, and they always take care of our people that go out to visit them. If you guys are going out to California, I highly recommend a visit to ZD Winery. All right, next up, we had a Benziger in, and there's so many of them. I mean, I don't know which we've had. Chris, we've had Mike, we've had Kathy. We've had so many Benzigers in over the year, I kind of lost track of all their names now, but this is Mike's daughter, and she's entering into the business, one of the nicest winery families in California. These people have been organic. They're not biodynamic, organically farmed for a long time. They were on the cover of the Wine Spectator on their green issue, and they're starting to make some really outstanding single vineyard wines. They were about 250,000 case production at one time. They reeled things back to about 100,000 and focusing on quality instead of quantity. All right, well, the Sauvignon Blanc, a nice little coiffer, maybe not the most complex wine in the world. Some lovely gooseberry and white grapefruit citrus on the nose. Light and crisp on the tongue with a little zesty lemon and grapefruit citrus, making it savory and leaving the tongue salivating for food on the finish. One of the things we love about Sauvignon Blanc. And a nice price, also $14.75. The Chardonnay San Giacomo was next. They've been farming, they've been working with the San Giacomo vineyard for years. Very good friends with them. They use Hungarian oak in this. I don't get that. That's one of the things in this wine that makes this wine somewhat unrefined to me, is the oak in it. But it does have nice fruit and nice balance and everything else. Next up, the Pinot Sonoma. This wine had lovely fresh red cherry and rhubarb-like fruit on the nose. Hints of fresh flowers and kind of an incense-like spice, very exotic. A nice hand of red berry fruit in the palate, black spices, little tea note on the finish, smooth and velvety tannins. Very nice little Pinot Noir there. Next up, the Cabernet Sonoma. This has been one of my favorite wines from Benziger. One of the things I love about Sonoma Cabs is they are very forward and drinkable. Not quite as dry. They don't really need the aging that Napa Cabs do, and they don't really get the respect of Napa. You don't see a lot of $100 wines coming out of Sonoma, and I think it's because they lend themselves to drinking better young rather than aging, and one of the things critics look for is ageability in the wine. So this Cabernet, very forward, lovely black cherry, black plum fruit, really ripe, some light earth notes there, smooth and drinkable, round, soft tannins, a crowd pleaser. The Three Blocks up next. This is the first time I've ever had this wine. 2006 was the first vintage it was made. That's probably why. This was a 2007. It's got a blend of 76 Cab, 24 Merlot, and I guess that's it. That's 100%, isn't it? All right, Three Blocks. That's why it's called Three Blocks. And this wine has got incredible richness and concentration on the palate. One of the things that you get from farming a vineyard properly is concentrated juice, dropping fruit, and just doing all the right things to make sure you get the most out of every grape on the vine. And this wine, not overblown, even though it is big. Lovely dark spices, still has some elegance and finesse on the finish. Lovely dark cocoa spice and black earth, but still a little bit dry. Hey, it's Cabernet Sauvignon for the most part, folks. And then the Tribute. This is a wine that the Benzigers have been making for some time. This is their top-level Sonoma mountain wine. And this wine was from the 06 vintage. Maybe not fair to compare 06 and 07. 07 superior in almost every way to 06, almost everywhere in Northern California. But a really nice wine, quite showy, quite forward, and nice milk chocolate notes. Lovely sweet red currant and plum fruit on this. A little tobacco spice and fresh earth also. A little bit more forward, a little lighter in style than this Three Blocks. I still liked it, but for my money, half the price. I'm on to the Three Blocks. Hey, you know, I had a Zinfandel tasting last night. I know what you're thinking. It's not my favorite varietal in the world, but hey, I need to take it for the team sometimes. There's a lot of people out there that like Zinfandel. About 20 of them last night at Cafe Max. My favorite wine, well, you know, the Gergich family, good friends of Wine Watch, There's one of the most balanced Zinfandels that we had. One of the things I don't like about Zin, it doesn't have the tannin. If you get big fruit and big alcohol, you need some tannin to balance that out also. This wine, really nice, biodynamically farmed. The Grgich is making great wine for years. And then the Chiarello wine. Michael Chiarello also making some killer Zinfandel under his Giannis label. This wine, outstanding, big, but still balanced, and had some structure, had some tannin to finish things out. All right, we'll check out the reviews on all the other Zinfandels that we had our tasting online. I'm your host, Andrew Lampazone, and that's what I had to drink last night.